I'm not only there at night.
Many times, what appears to be a very subtle change or a mindset shift can become a huge game changer. Therefore, today's video could be a huge game changer for you and your cadence. And I'm super nervous for this run. I've got a 1.2 mile climb of 1,400 feet, which equates to an average of 22% grade throughout the whole climb. But I'm feeling good. And why am I gonna run it, you say? Well, it's gonna help my cadence and everything we talk about today. Whether it's training to get better at running uphill easier or on flats running easier with higher cadence, the key is to look for improvement through time. We're not just automatically thinking a magic pill is going to help us go out the door and run easy at 180 cadence. We want to improve through time, and especially when we're in the mountains or running uphill, we're never really going to achieve that 180 cadence. That's not necessarily the goal. The goal is to see improvement through time. So I am using this hill today as training. Like I mentioned, I'm gonna run it at a very, very steep grade. And how is this gonna help my cadence? Because it's so steep, I need to get into a rhythm. I need to have quick cadence. I need to be able to apply force quickly into the ground and not just lift my legs. And therefore that's the training. But what we're going to really dive into is maybe changing your mindset of run form and how we apply force into the ground rather than lifting our knees to have better cadence. And that's the biggest mistake I see. Most runners, when they think about going out and having quicker cadence running easy, they just lift their knees. We need to reverse it. We need to think about applying force quickly into the ground. Warm up over. Here we go. For those of you wondering why cadence is so important, well, it helps us spend less time on each foot, which is a good thing. Less ground contact time is very good. The more ground contact time we have, the more things can go wrong. The more ankle and knee flexion we get. The more we use our quads, the less we use our glutes. It's a vicious cycle when we spend a lot of time on each foot. And improving our frequency and our force production helps us improve our speed, helps us improve our strength, helps us improve not only our run performance, but our health and longevity in the sport. But here you go again. Oh, I'm not competitive. I'm not a real runner. I'm not a performance runner. I just run for health and fitness. Exactly. The key is for me to be patient and not go too hard because I'm feeling good. I just got to be patient with each step, be nice and quick, and almost kind of like trying to go as easy as I can, but then therein lies the trick of being quick and forceful with my footstep into the ground to create enough force to go uphill. Again, if I'm just lifting my leg, there's no force in the ground to push me going uphill. And that keeps us healthy. That improves our cadence, our leg stiffness, our speed, and our longevity because we use muscles in an appropriate way. If you were jumping rope, would you try to bring your knees really high up while you jump? You can do it, but it's not very efficient. You're going to tire very quickly versus being short and quick and providing force into the ground to utilize your elastic energy to jump efficiently and jump well.
I'm back. Boop.
Woo. All right. I've got a little bit of a dip, a quick break. So I like to take a mental breather and kind of break this up in 2 halves. So I'm about halfway. So try this. Take that concept of shifting that mindset from having higher cadence by lifting the knee up to providing force, subtle force, depending on how fast you're running, into the ground. So try this. Pause the camera, take your shoes and socks off, and run in place with the emphasis on lifting your knee up. And notice how noisy it sounds. Notice how much more effort it requires versus now changing your mindset to providing a little bit of force into the ground to run in place. And notice how things quiet down. It feels better. It feels more efficient. It feels like less effort. It feels like you're using your body in unison with your elastic energy. That's what I'm talking about, the subtle shift of now we're providing force into the ground to propel us forward and, more importantly, to utilize our elastic energy. All right, now it's gonna kick up. Another simple self-diagnostic. Try running upstairs without applying force into the step to go up. Can't do it. And another reason why I like to do this in training at this steep grade is it just makes all of the climbing that much easier for cadence.
I think the girls with their nails done.
It's like putting that weighted donut on the baseball bat while you're warming up before you go into the plate. You swing that nice heavy bat, you take the donut off, and now your swing is quicker, more forceful, and it feels lighter. Due to a funky summer, my strength is not where it's usually at. So this last quarter of the climb, I'm doing running intervals where I run for a little bit, and then when I feel like I'm losing everything, I stop, get a little break, and then begin running again. So I'm always running, and the key is that I'm always running well. I'm not practicing kind of leaning over, losing a little bit of force, getting lots of knee flexion. I want to avoid that, so I'm keeping it all good. But one thing to keep in mind, if you have a hard time running easy in general and with higher cadence, this is a sign of inefficiency where you really got to practice this, and therefore go back to running in place. It's a wonderful drill. It's a wonderful skill that you can do inside anywhere, especially now with the winter months, dark evenings. Take your socks, take your shoes off, and practice running in place, providing a variety of force into the ground to find that groove. What feels good to you? What feels nice and natural running easy? And then you're just applying that feeling to when you're running outside. Again, learning a skill is understanding what it feels like so you can replicate that in the real world. Therefore, sometimes the flaw in learning technique and skill is in how it's taught rather than using skills-based learning of how it feels. Many coaches teach run form based on what it looks like. Many athletes focus on what their form looks like rather than what it feels like. Doing repetition of skills trains the mind and the body to understand what good feels like. That's the key. You're still not convinced. Therefore, we need to take our skills to the next level. Get ready to pause again. Let's go to our two-legged pogos. Let's pogo up and down nice and quickly, kind of like you're jumping rope. Nice and quick, nothing big. Again, pogoing like you had to go all day. Nice, quick, short, good leg stiffness. Notice what it feels like. Play around with it. Make it feel good and elastic. And then take it to the one-legged pogo. And now I want you to see, for you to be nice and quick with the one-legged pogo, you have to be short and quick with good leg stiffness, good stiffness in the arch, good engagement with your arch and calf and foot. Applying that eccentric force into the ground in a subtle way to keep the one-legged pogo into a groove, a nice quick groove. So now try to do the one-legged pogo, lifting your knee a little bit up in the air. And notice what this does. Slows your cadence down. It makes things noisy again. Remember when we ran in place with knees high driving up? It creates really a hard landing, which is what we don't want. We want to land and then provide force. So again, go into practicing both with the one-legged pogo and feel the difference. Feel what feels good and feel what doesn't. Normally what feels good is proper. And that's where we learn the skill of how things feel and how practicing skills like this translates the feeling for when you go outside and begin to run. And that's skills-based learning. That's skill-based run form learning, and how running really is a skill. And therefore, I feel since running is a skill, running is a subtle form of art.
It is like a magic show, a darker flow. I won't let you go. I'm here.
Over and out from the top of Crystal Butte, probably the last time before winter. And over and out from Jackson Hole, Born to Run World. See you guys.